Just give a knock when it's up.
I can just hold the doors. Let me know.
Yeah. Damn, you gave such a good intro there. That was so tough.
Brutal. It'll be halftime. We'll just redo it.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Lon.
Vertical. Who's this one with this?
Lauren Kamara.
Oh, that's not. 7. That's Jacob.
Yeah. No, that's Mike McKenzie. Sorry. Jacob's not here. Or I didn't see him.
Oh yeah, Jacob's not on the phone.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Wow.
Nice break.
Timmy. Classic Timmy.
Break to start. Kind of nasty.
Unfortunate. Coach Kev trying to bring the team together.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
Okay, it should be back up. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm double checking to see if we're actually live, but I'll talk as if we are. For those who missed it, which is all of you because Nate wasn't streaming, first point of the game, BC All-Stars get broken. Max Petnuza puts up a huck, contested by Marty Gallant. Team Canada marches it down and scores the other way. I'm joined in the booth right now by Nicholas Sanchez.
Hey guys, yeah, we're out here for an exciting game. Don't know where you guys got cut off earlier, but for those of you that are just now tuning in, don't know which side of the ball you're supporting, but this is going to be an exciting game between the Canada World Games. Not yet the final roster, still a preliminary 22-player roster, I believe, that's going to be cut down to 14 after this weekend, and they are facing off against the Vancouver All-Stars. It's a bit of an exciting amalgamation of Furious George players, Vancouver Traffic players, mostly alumni, some players that are still on the current team, so it should be an exciting game to watch. Hopefully some high-octane energy and on both sides of the disc, and exciting for you guys to tune in. Huck goes up from the World Games team, and that looks like Brianne Wager, who is center too. Looks up for a huge huck, misread by Andrea Moyer. Looks like she was on her way back down. She's also known as the Doctor, currently attending medical school and one of the Vancouver Traffic captains, first-year captain this year. But World Games marching it up, finding that open side flow, a big cut downfield to create some space, attacking the up line. It looks like Malcolm Bryson. Nice reset there to middle of the field, seeing some break side flow, looked off, cuts up line, finds that nice inside. That looks like Quinn there. We are working it along the break side. Some clean offense so far by this TC World Games team. Looking to get that disc back into the middle of the field. Thomas Edmonds striking down. That is almost blocked by Andrea. This World Games team showing they are comfortable on the break side. Thomas Edmonds. Oh, almost a collision there between the World Games players. A bit of a cheeky throw. Maybe a little too lazy there from Malcolm. Could have been cleaner. Ends up in a turnover. Vancouver All-Stars on that open again. A little bit of miscommunication. Now this is a team that doesn't usually play together. Some of them play together on club, but you know it's a bit of a pickup team, so maybe expect some of those communication errors. And that is some clean open side upline offense. Malcolm to Thomas and to that front cone for a score 2-0. 2 straight breaks for this World Games team. Is it working? Unfortunately, still experiencing some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure how much of this you guys are seeing. But it looks like the TC World Games team with another big pull up, and Vancouver All-Stars. Nice inside shot there by Kerry Hulse. Some breakside flow. Robbie Brennan puts up a throw. 50-50 RV comes down with it for the first score, and a little bit of a spike there. That is the first point for Vancouver All-Stars. Currently down 2-1 against this TC World Games team. World Games seems like they're running, more or less two different lines here. These are some players we've all seen before. It looks like Malik Oje-Samar, big player who's been down with Chicago Machine for the last few years, leaving his mark on the American club scene. Originally from Quebec, and started playing with the Open team there, and took his talents down to Chicago to play for Machine, who's one of the most talented teams in USAU club division. They've been kind of on the precipice of a title for the last few years now, and Malik has been a big part of adding to that roster. A huge downfield cutting threat with some great physical attributes and defensive prowess, and he's accompanied by Thomas Edmonds, another player who plays out of Washington, D.C. with Truck Stop, who have been a new contender as of the last few years, and he's kind of a stalwart on that team for the past few seasons. Looks like Malcolm Bryson, currently in his 10th year on Furious. Pull goes just out of bounds. Collie Mott on this close side. Looks like Sarah Jacobson. Gaggy Chatha on that far side, communicating with Thomas. It looks like a tree to start to that break side. Overthrown on the first pass, but there he is, Malik, coming down with the second effort. Collie for a quick pass, back to Malik. Looks off Collie. Couple extra cuts by Gaggy. Malik finds that break side, and that next pass to Thomas Edmonds for the score. That is some clean O-line play. Apart from that first pass, there was some good breakside flow by this TC World Games team.
You could probably go down for now.
I just did like 2 laps.
Sounds good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient. We had some technical difficulties where Nathan could not get any internet connection. Big problem when you're streaming out to millions of viewers. Anyway, current score is World Games 3, Fan City All-Stars 2. Assuming you guys missed it, the World Games team opened up with a break, and it's been clean holds ever since. I think. Don't quote me on that. Just to remind you, I'm Jonah. I will be here commentating for this game. We have kind of a barn burner for you. Bunch of World Games selects versus the Van City All-Stars. Just a reminder for you, those of you watching at home who might not be aware of the World Games selection process, there are currently 20 players in red, and that will be whittled down to 14, I believe, after this weekend. So not only is this a showcase game for them, it's also a tryout. So every time they step on the field, you know that they're giving it their 100%. On the other hand, Van City All-Stars, some of these players were actually cut from the World Games Select, so maybe they have something to prove. Anyway, into it, we've got a zone. It looks like an FSU, some sort of junky zone. Break it through nicely. Bear with the disc to Malik Alger-Samar. Nice fake right back to the middle. Oh, clap catch drop in the middle of the field. Break opportunity. Brianne Wager picks up, passes it over to Robbie Brennan. McHale cutting deep. Sees Sam Butt streaking across. McHale, big under opportunity. Quinn Snyder lurking. Passes it back to Robbie Brennan. Across to Wage. Andrea Mora coming under. You know she's holding on to it. Now, little stagnation. Sam Butt sent back 45 degrees. Loss of 10 yards. Nothing to show for it. Beautiful Oyo shot to McHale. As the Van City All-Stars, just a little bit behind his receiver. Daisy Lynn with the drop. Quinn Snyder picking up. No, not picking up. Thank goodness. As we all know, Quinn, great goal scorer, not a handler. Thomas Edmonds picking up. To Sarah Jacobson. Looks like we have a call in the field. Likely a pick. This play stops and we get reset here. All right, we're tapped back in. Looks like Britt Dos Santos. I'm a little bit far from the field, as you can see from the camera position. Can't really tell who's who for the most part, but doing my best. Britt Dos Santos to Malik Alger-Samar. Almost. Sam Butt lurking. Flips it into the goal. To Quinn Snyder for the point. I believe it's 4-2 for the All-Stars. Nicholas Whitlock in the chat with the Sunnies. Think Nate's going to appreciate that. And anybody watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in. We'd like to apologize once again for the technical difficulties, but thanks for sticking with us. I'll have the chat open all game, so if you want to call in with any questions, concerns, or criticisms, hopefully of the players and not the stream, let us know. Throughout the game, we might have some guest spots coming in. It's hard doing this by myself. I know Nick Sanchez was in here. Some of you might know him. Nick Sanchez, former UBC captain, Furious alum, talking to himself for 15 minutes while we were figuring out the technical difficulties. Santiago Ramirez, is this the final roster? No, this is not. This is the preliminary roster. So the World Games team has 20 players, and 3 male matching, 3 female matching will be cut after the process, and the final 14 will be selected. So yeah, it's a tough team to make. Some would say the toughest team. And these players, while they are all in the same color, are competing for those roster spots.
Could we solve that with Starling? Could we solve that?
You'll see on the, I'm not sure where the camera's pointed. Looks like at the red. On the other side, we have Kevin Underhill not playing. He got injured at League last night. So he's going to be coaching this Van City All-Star team. Hopefully doing a good job. But no one I would rather have leading from the front than Mr. Canada himself. Who's selecting Nicholas Whitlock? I believe it's... I don't know who the head coach is, but I see Alex Davis down there, and I'm going to assume that he has a big say in who makes the final roster. But I think there are 4 Team Canada coaches that I see right now. Very generous with this time between pulls. I'll say it. Get off the field, Kevin. Hoodie is head coach. Thank you, Win. Glebe, Ottawa native, Win G, with the info. All right, we see hands up. Getting this point underway. Lauren Kimura with the pull. It's floating. Hanging. Staying in. RV Brilliante picking up. Vince Bullock. Rushing up line, cutting back. Gets the disc. Fan City All-Stars set up in a vert stack. Ooh. Nice step out. And a blade over the top to Max Petnuzzo. Blown coverage. Oh, fakes the spike. I know Dave Petnuzzo sitting at home, absolutely frothing at the mouth watching his son tear it up on the big screen. All right, I'm going to stick my head out of the commentary booth for a moment and see if I can get anyone to come in here and help me out. Be right back. Sanchez. Ben. Is Sanchez down there? Go on. See if he wants to come up. All right, I stepped out to see if Nick Sanchez wanted to hop on, but apparently his car was getting towed, so he had to go pay for parking. Giles, Trahan? Yeah, we had to donate to get the link, and then the first stream went down, and with it, the link that was sent out went down. So we decided to open it up to everyone. But thank you very much for donating. Helping this World Games team go represent in China later this year. It's much appreciated. And now we get to have more people in the chat, which is nice. Carson, thank you. Yeah, this is my own. I brought this mic from home. Rode NT1. Highly recommended if you're a streamer or you do voiceover work like myself. You can pick up everything. Audio when you're talking into it, audio when you're not talking into it, ambient noise, such as that. Let's get back to the action, which it looks like another timeout, to be honest. Morgan Hibbert, the ageless wonder, 45 years old, just had a child not 2 months ago. Out there, obviously Frisbee more important than fatherhood. Just kidding. But you're going to expect this pull to go out of frame. Maybe one of the best pullers in the game. Spin pull. Look at that loft. Look at that height. Just sitting. End zone to end zone. Anushka Bodri picking up, I think, to Gagan Chatha. Swings it across to Britt Dos Santos. Quinn Snyder in the middle of the field. Flips it to Gagan Chatha. Cross to Britt. Fan City All-Stars doing a great job of containing this World Games offense. And as I say it, Mikhail with the poach block. Shooting. Looping. Oh, it's a goal for the Van City All-Stars. That is their first break of the game. What do you think of that, Nick Sanchez? Did your car get towed?
No, my car did not get towed, and I don't have a ticket.
Let's go.
Which is exciting.
Let's get some ones in the chat for Nick Sanchez not getting towed.
Yeah, let's get some W's in the chat. That was, I'd love to highlight one player on that play, and that's Mikhail, who is going into his second year on Furious. He got the D. He scored the goal in Frisbee. We call that bookends. That's, an exciting play to make here in front of the crowd, in front of the stands for a guy like him who's, last year was his rookie season on Furious. He's someone who's been working really hard to make that top men's team in Vancouver, and it's exciting to see him show out and perform against talented players like this World Game roster.
All right, we've got some questions in the chat. Miles Grovich says, stream sounds great. What's your favorite thing about Thomas Edmonds? My favorite thing is he's American. What about yours, Nick?
I think my favorite, I was thinking about this earlier. if I'm a coach, I'm concerned about picking him just in case he gets tariffed. But my favorite thing about Thomas Edmonds is probably the way he runs. I think he kind of gallops a little bit like a horse in sometimes when I see it. But, a talented player nonetheless. Something to look out for, though.
Something to look out for, the tariffs. He might not return to the U.S. Sorry, Pittsburgh, or wherever he is now.
Yeah.
We got AJ Merriman in the chat. 100 humans versus 1 gorilla. I'm gonna say it. 100 humans.
100 humans.
100 humans.
100%.
For sure.
For sure.
How can 1 gorilla withstand the power of friendship?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's friendship, but I think that 100 humans, if you're tactical about it, if you get the right minds, we don't need Bill Belichick organizing the humans. I think anyone with decent common sense can put together an attack plan that is sufficient to take down a gorilla. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. As the poll goes up to the World Games roster, I'm not sure who that is, but centering to Mark Lloyd, another ageless wonder.
Marty Gallant.
And Marty Gallant coming across World Games in kind of a deep hoe stack.
Mike McKenzie on the force side, going back to the open side. Big under gainer. Ooh, shot goes up for Malik. Comes down with it, one hand. A little looping toss into the end zone, and that is a score for World Games.
Mike McKenzie to Marty Gallant. Can't complain about that connection. That is going to be nasty for this World Games D-line all game.
Yeah, we call that M&M here in Canada.
M&M.
Not to be mistaken with the Smarties. That's Tim Sang. And what are you seeing as the TSN turning point so far? What's kind of got the game to where it's at right now?
I think at the moment, all of World Games turnovers have been off miscommunications. Like someone cutting under and then changing directions as the throw goes up, or just blown coverage, like a poach comes off and they don't see it. I think it's maybe a chemistry issue, something that they're going to try and work out as they're fighting, clawing at each other's throats to make this roster. And on the other end, the Hucks have been not so great for the Van City All-Stars. A little floaty, a little sketchy. They've been lucky to come down with a few of them and have had turnovers on some of the other ones. So I think tightening up these Hucks, putting them in front instead of up above, might help.
There's nothing like pickup mixed team and Hucks, kind of the favorite combo. Will Vu with the disc,
yes, it is.
Lefty.
Vince, you're saying you left your glasses at home.
Yeah, my name is Nick, but I did leave my glasses at home.
Hope you didn't catch that.
So I'm kind of squinting right now to see, but I tell you what, you don't need to squint to see Jay Manchuk absolutely dominate. Kerry Holst with the Huck. Vince in the end zone gets D'd. Gaggy Chata. Oh, and a foul call. You love to see that from the Van City All-Stars.
I don't know if you guys can hear the crowd reaction, but no one other than Vince Bullock would get a standing ovation for that foul call. Getting absolutely boxed out by Gagan.
We call that the Bullock box out. Patented move for Vince here. He's been doing that since our early days on UBC. Now, if you're in this conversation, what are you saying?
If I'm Gagan Chatha, I'm just getting as many expletives out as possible. I'm reaming Vince out for that call.
Yeah, and these two are known to go at it, so...
Yeah, two of the hottest heads in Frisbee.
Absolutely.
Hottest bods, too.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hey, yo.
Whoa.
Drink to that.
Cheers. And
oh, wow, look at that hammer.
Contested, going back.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. From up here without my glasses on, I think that's a fair result. Kerry Holst probably looking for another Huck. Jay Manchuk.
Uh-oh. I think the stream is down. Is the stream down? It's down on my phone. Oh, we're back up. Moved over to a different stream.
Okay. We are still live. Gaggy Chata floats one out to Malik. Monsieur Auger Semar, as they say in Quebec.
Quebec? Is that a break?
Vive la France. That was a break?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a break.
Heck yeah.
TC World Games now up 2 breaks. with a score of
5-3.
5-3 for World Games.
Wow. Isn't this exciting?
Yeah, you know, this is actually my favorite part of any Frisbee game, and it's the time when the game's not happening. I think it's usually just really thrilling to watch, especially as someone watching a stream. I know you guys at home are not skipping through this. This is the content you came to watch.
Does give us time to respond to messages. If you go over your data plan, they can pay you with the donations. That's a good point. That is a good point. What are these donations going towards, if not the quality of the stream? I think we should start ganging up on Nate.
I think we should, yeah. He's done a pretty poor job tonight. But, you know, in the meantime, let's thank our sponsors. Our biggest sponsor for tonight, Be Ultimate. #1 apparel brand in Ultimate. If you're looking for your shorts, your jerseys, your pants, your jackets, there's only one place to shop, and that's VC Ultimate. Sorry, VC Ultimate. Sorry, got that confused there. No, Be Ultimate, actually.
And another thank to our other sponsors, Jägermeister. Don't drink responsibly, drink Jägermeister. CJ asks, what offense do you think the Vancouver All-Stars should run? I am a big proponent of, honestly, I think like a hoe stack would be good. Vert stack, you need quite a bit of, like some discipline. You need to be practiced with your team. You know, if you're coming off the front, coming off the back of the stack. Hoe, you can kind of just meander around and let the handlers like do stuff like that.
This is also my favorite style of Ultimate, and that is the first throw huck off the centering pass. I believe that's... Was that McHale again? McHale catching another score, proving to be a weapon for this Vancouver All-Star team.
Absolute missile.
Yep. He is a rocket.
Yeah, McHale. Were you talking about him earlier? Second year
I was,
on Furious? Yeah. No, he played Blackfish 3 years ago when I coached him, and I think he scored more than 50% of the goals for our team. End zone to end zone hucks, just an absolute stallion out there. What are we thinking about what's going through the heads of the players who were just down at college regionals in maybe one of the most hotly contested matches in the college series this year?
Yeah, tell you what, I unfortunately wasn't able to watch the game live and haven't seen the stream. I only know the result. So I think if you are UBC, what's going through your mind is we made it. And if you're UVic, what's going through your mind is we didn't, which is never very fun to think about. So hopefully Max, who's on the field right now, Max Pednuzzo is not thinking about that too much. Or sorry, it doesn't look like he's actually on right now.
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'll get you some glasses.
Yeah.
Should
that's where the other...
Should TC be bracketing the Van City All-Stars split stack?
That would be super cringe, in my opinion.
Well, that's what's been happening, right? That's how they're getting deep in these like male matching, female matching mismatches in the deep space. It's happened twice now because they have like the deep poach sagging off, and then it's like maybe not quite enough coverage to stop the likes of McHale, the beast, the weapon.
Beast. Yep, the missile. I think it really comes down to your personal preference. Are you here to watch a good game, or are you here to make the team? And I guess if you're at TC World Games, you're here to make the team, and you're here to compete. So, they can bracket if they want, but as an observer, maybe selfishly, I want something really exciting. I don't really want to see brackets. I want to see big hucks. I want to see lots of scores. Yeah. I want to see sprinting players deep like the one we've got right now. Looked off.
I want to see floating hucks and bidding bodies. I'll say it.
Thomas Edmonds.
That is overthrown.
Collie Mott looking for Malik there. Didn't quite connect. Earlier we were talking about M&M. We were talking about Smarties. C&M, not a connection that's really known to anyone, so that's why that didn't work, but that's okay.
Andrew Moore with the disc to Sam Butt. Looking for Morgan Hibbert. A big flick.
Wow! Oh my God, what a D! Wow, that was exciting.
Holy cow. The claw of Chatha reaching out. Thomas Edmonds, backhand huck. 2 receivers in chase. It's not going to be enough. That was epic.
That was the highlight of the game so far. Second highlight of the game is a chest bump we just saw by Thomas Edmonds. Ooh, and the high five behind the back with Malik. Here he goes, jogging down the field. Another high five and a dap. And that looked like a booty bump.
Little moon landing. Nicholas Whitlock, I reckon Jonah should get on the turf. I'm just getting over a 3-year stint with a concussion, and I will be back on that turf very soon. Don't you worry.
And AJ Merriman, okay. Clapping emoji. Thanks for your engagement, AJ. AJ Merriman, one of the teammates of Thomas Edmonds, he maybe has some insights. AJ, what can you tell us about Thomas's sleeping habits? We've heard he's got some interesting sleeping habits. Just word on the street.
That was dumb. Yeah, okay, well, we are at 7-4 right now for Canada World Games. This is going to be for half if they get a break here. Is this the result you were expecting?
I think so, yeah. You know, you'd always expect this World Games team. They're coming out here. They got something to prove. They're all trying to make this final roster. They are here to compete. This Van City All-Stars team, a lot of talented players, but at the end of the day, when you get this pickup team, mixed team, it can be really challenging to execute and not have those communication errors that we've seen from this Van City All-Stars team. So hoping they can maybe clean things up towards the end of this first half, in the second half, or not. Oh my God. That was insane. Wow. I'm speechless.
Yeah, and with that amazing almost Callahan layout grab from Mark Lloyd, TC World Games takes half, 8-4.
We'll be back after a few ads from our sponsors.
Can you think of one?
UBC, a center of academic excellence in the Pacific Northwest. Road mics, keeping our voices crisp and clear since about 30 minutes ago.
All right. We'll be back after halftime. Don't walk away from that screen.
Yeah, keep your eyes wide open, focused, waiting.
C-Chan Alti. Ooh, we have an influencer in the chat. C-Chan Alti. Do you still have that Misfit jersey with the samurai? I do. I keep it in a frame hanging above my bed so I can see that sweet, sweet jersey every night when I go to sleep. Let's go drink some beers.
Wait, was the score 7-4?
8-4.
I'm like 35 minutes, right? Why she's not playing right now. She's a big talent coming out of Burnaby, British Columbia, my hometown. She's been a stalwart on this UBC Women's Ultimate They've formed a bit of, dare I call it, a dynasty at this point. They haven't won any championships, but the last few years they have been on the precipice of greatness.
Yeah.
And this year they are coming into that USAU College National Championships right up the top of the rankings. Mika, number 1 on Ultiworld's College Player of the Year awards. She is not UBC's Callahan nominee this year, but man, if she doesn't win it next year, might be a crime happening.
Yeah, they call her the Charles Barkley of women's ultimate, the best player to never win a ring. As we say, that poll going up from Brianne Wage, fielded by someone. To Gagan Chatha. Oh, it's another turnover situation. And looks like sort of a zony, maybe an open side bracket. No, it looks like they're melting out of it. Might have been an FSU, but now they're into person. Mike McKenzie with the disc. Looking for an open cutter. Finds it. Malcolm Bryson streaking across. Jay Manchuk on the mark. Disc gets centered. This World Games stack a little bit deep, making it hard for the cutters to get enough space out to the sides. But as they get towards this end zone, starts to compress, it's going to start to open up for them, I think. Britt Dos Santos finding Mike McKenzie, floats it. Little hop into the end zone for the score. Hard to stop that.
That is nearly impossible to stop. I think something from that point to highlight, Malcolm had some good moments. That's Malcolm Bryson from the front of the stack, really activated towards that break side. This World Games team, they are talented throwers, able to use both sides of the field. Doesn't really matter who's on the mark, where the mark is. They're capable of breaking it. And we saw it on that point. They were able to go back and forth, use the lateral width of this field. And after gaining that lateral yardage and exposing the marks, forcing the marks to pick something to take away, they were able to counter, or they were able to expose what was open. And a lot of good lateral to vertical yards gained there by that World Games team.
Yeah. And we have a question. What's an FSU? FSU is person defense on the handlers, forcing middle, right and left wing, and a deep, kind of playing zony, and then the mid being hyper aggressive, everyone funneling the disc into the middle of the field looking for those blocks.
Yeah, and that's AJ Merriman, USA World Games spy, who is asking that question. AJ, nice to have you in the chat.
Yeah. Can anything I said be corroborated? It's like the law. A drunk person can't incriminate themselves. I've had one beer. You can't use what I said against me. I saw it on True Detective.
Everything that happens on True Detective is true.
It's in the name. Pull goes up, low, flat. That was like a guts pull trying to hit the other team with the disc to get the turnover.
Looks like Daisy Lynn with the disc here in the middle of the field. Vince coming around. Ooh,
RV Brilliante,
shimmy shake is what we call that. Vince puts up an absolute dime. His pockets are empty. Blows a kiss. I believe that was directly towards Jonah and I in the commentator booth. I feel special right now, and I'm sure he does too after a throw like that.
That made me feel things I can't say on commentary. 9-5 for the World Games team. AJ Merriman says, I ain't on the team. Nick Sanchez.
Well, I know you ain't on the team, but
that's all right, man.
Heard you connected like that, So you never know. You never know.
Allegedly. I don't know what to talk about between these points. This is hard, man. Commentary is hard. Let's do another ad read. No, it's too easy. Who is your favorite player on the field right now?
Wow. That is a tough question.
A lot to choose from. A lot of players to choose from. And there is only one correct answer.
Considering the entire World Games roster is currently standing on the field, how do I even pick? But I think I'm going to go for maybe a bit of a wild card here. Sam Butt.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, from the Van City All-Stars.
Oh, my God.
There's only one right pick, and it's probably Sam Butt. He's an absolute dog.
Sam the dog butt.
Yep.
Number 26, closest on the white side to us. Nope, now second closest.
Look for him to hunt down this pole or casually jog down. Sometimes it's hard to say, but, I had the chance to play with him on Furious for the past 2 years. He is an electric teammate, energetic, loves to play defense. He's got that dog in him for sure.
Speaking of dog, that spin
there he
pull
is.
from Rex Ewan, huge loft.
And as projected, Sam Butt was the first one down there on that pole. Some breakside flow by this World Games team. Looking to shoot. Nope. Max with a great mark.
And Daisy Lynn coming off the back there with a poach. Ooh. Come on. Come on, Mikhail. Get on your freaking horse. Let's go.
What a layout D by Quinn on himself. I think there's F's in the chat for the stream being down. And Daisy Lynn picking up the disc. We don't know when this stream's going to come back, so
We'll just keep talking.
we'll just keep yapping.
Oh, that's not.
Max Pedinuzzo striking, but so is Mikhail. And that is athlete on athlete battle. Max Pedinuzzo slips out of his buttery fingertips.
Stream came up just at the right time. That was pretty dope. That was Rex Ewan put up the huck. Just popped through the hands of Max Pedinuzzo.
And we got Wing G in the chat saying Sam equals GOAT. Couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more. Nice. Tight little shot to Gagan Chatha with the disc. Puts it up. I think that's going to be a connection. No way.
I don't know.
Oh!
Oh, what a D.
Oh, boo. Hold on,
that's-
let me get outside. I got to get a boo chant going.
Oh, Boo Chant is going to be getting started by Jonah here. Let us know in the chat. What do you think of that foul call? Oh, there. Sorry, we got cows outside now. There was a little bit of body contact, but you kind of expect that at this level.
Yeah.
You expect a little bit of physicality, especially with something like a World Games team.
I'm going back. I'm watching the replay.
That was some great defensive
Cole Jurek
effort
with the boo in the chat.
by
Thank you.
Daisy
Back us
Lynn.
up. Contested.
And, of note, we don't have any observers here today, so every foul call is probably going to get contested. But you never know. AJ, love to see feedback from the booth. Thanks, man.
Yeah, this is not an unbiased environment. I'm cheering against the World Games team, and you guys should be too.
Yeah, if commentators aren't biased, then I don't think they're doing it right.
Oh, sorry for kicking the mic. Nice. Sarah Jacobson, a.k.a. Bear with the disc to Quinn Snyder. Flat mark from Justin Pedinuzzo. Foot block gets in the way. Too deep, but the claws of Chatha will not be denied. It's too easy. He's been doing this for like 15 years. Top of his game.
Yeah, and, Quinn, after the throw, lines up an arrow celebration. A little overused, but I think timeless celebration nonetheless. A fun fact about Quinn, huge Winnipeg Jets fan. They're currently up, I believe, 3-0, 3-1. And that's the Winnipeg Jets hockey team. If you're American and watching, I don't know if you
Hockey
know
is
what
a sport that's played on ice with sticks and skates. Karen Hatch, yes, we will say who's on the line between points. That being said, we don't have a commentary list or a teams list, so we can't quite see who's who, but I'll try and call it out as we go. We've got on this line Malik Auger-Samar, Mark Lloyd, Penelope Robert, Tim Sang, Marty Gallant, and two female matching players who I can't quite tell who they are. East Coasters who aren't quite on my radar. But we're going to pull it up. Yeah, we pulled up the list and we actually still can't tell. We will figure it out as we go. Once we see their numbers, we'll get them to you.
And apologies if you are a family member or a friend of some of these players that we don't quite recognize.
Monica Wang says Rachel Kook,
Oh, Rachel Kook.
who I've heard is a beast in the stands earlier, trying to figure out who's who. And the people were saying Rachel Kook is nasty.
Yeah, I heard she got a nickname RC Car once because she's that fast. And Crystal DeSantos telling us, and Florence, I think.
Is the machine on there too? Okay, with the poll coming up.
And Malik is on the field, so he So the machine is there.
The machine is there.
So that's a combination for Malik that we didn't even think about earlier.
Yeah. The Florence and the machine.
Yeah, we got Eminem and Florence and the Machine. Malik.
Andrea Moore with the disc. Stall count rising. This could be trouble. Timmy. Yeah, that's Tim Ball. Tim Sang. He's been playing for Team Canada team since 2008 when he played for the U19s.
Wow, I was not playing Frisbee at that time. Centers to Malik. Malik, ooh, nice little inside cut there. Another nice inside cut. That's a nice grab, nice little reset. We're working this open side. No, that is a huge layout D. Devin Bringelin Powell, or BP is what we call him here on the West Coast. He has been making blocks like that since the ripe age of 7. I don't think he was playing Frisbee then, but I heard he was getting blocks since then.
He got up for that.
Nice little inside shimmy shake. Will Vu. Monica Sue with the disc in the middle of the field. Finds Will. Will with that left hand.
Scuba. It's going to be Scuba.
Oh, no. High release backhand. Jay Manchuk on the front line. Can this Van City team break? Goes back around. Devin toes it.
Yeah, curls it in.
It's in. Leave it to the Canadians to curl it in.
Okay, it wasn't Florence. It was Snorto, Sarah Norton. But when Florence and Malik are on, we'll make sure to make the same joke so you guys don't miss it.
This TC World Games team sprinting to the line. Look at that effort by Malcolm Bryson.
I mean, this is they only have so many points to prove that they're worth it. You got to run on the line. Knees down.
Yep.
Once 7 knees are down, nobody else gets on. Oh. Hey, Nate, you want to say anything to your fans? Let them know. Let them know.
We've got a new sponsor. Just found out this stream now being sponsored by Body Armor. That's pretty exciting. This is a big-time energy drink. I think it's got like coconut water in it or something, so it's supposed to be healthier, but apparently they're pretty good.
It's a super drink.
Super drink.
What makes a drink super?
Some super commentators.
I'd rather be drinking Prime. Okay, we got to read out. Who's on the line? Who's number 5? Skip it for now. Oh, you don't have your glasses. I got to do this. We got Quinn Snyder, Mike McKenzie, Britt Dos Santos, Malcolm Bryson, Sarah Jacobson, could be Molly Wedge, and Colifus Mott. What this Vancouver All-Star team needs to win is the sponsor of today's game, Body Armor. They just drank 1 drop of Body Armor each. I think it'll give them the hydration and the energy they need to win the game.
Yeah, and you know, this Van City All-Star team has stayed in it in the second half. 10-6. A double move downfield by Sarah Jacobson. Quinn is streaking. Morgan just out of reach. You don't say that too often. Quinn comes down with it for the score for this World Games team. Cole, why don't you let us know in the chat if this was Minnesota, your old alma mater Grey Ducks, coming down here playing this World Games team, and you're in the same position, down 11-6. What do you think needs to happen for you guys to get the win, and why is the answer let you touch the disc every other pass?
You're such a Frisbee nerd. That's awesome, man.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Student of the game. While you were out partying, he was studying the rosters of old UPA and U.S. college teams.
I mean, Cole played College Ultimate not that long ago. Minnesota Grey Duck legend. Made his way onto the club scene. Made his presence known. I think he's on Truck Stop, right?
So funny.
Unreal Glaze by Mao Grovich. Here's some Unreal Glaze. I literally don't know who you are, so I would glaze you if I knew who you were.
Damn. You haven't even had a beer yet. Okay, on this World Games lineup, hard to see. We've got Maliko J. Samar, Lauren Kimura. I can't quite tell. Marty Gallant. Who's got the disc? Who is that? Tim Sang. Maybe it's Florence. Florence is finally on, perhaps. Looks like Penelope Robert and Justin Podnar, a name we haven't actually said yet. kind of a controversial name at the moment.
He's had a bit of a quiet game so far. To be honest, I think most of this World Games team, there's only so many opportunities in games like this to make one of those big standout highlight plays. What gets you on these teams is that consistent high level of execution of the fundamentals required on both sides of the disc to compete at the highest level at this World Games tournament, which will be happening in Chengdu this year.
I'm going to actually have to disagree with you there. I don't think it's the execution of the fundamentals that gets you on the team. It's how far you can throw a hammer.
True.
And we're hoping to see it here. Two notorious shooters, Rex Ewan and Max Pentnuzzo, who were going to war in the game to go, Northwest region game to go, UBC versus UVic, just last week.
And there's Sam Butt with the disc.
Oh, Win G. There goes your hero.
Goes for a little a round break onto that.
Into the ground. Tim Sang with the disc.
Sideline. Sam against Tim. That is a matchup that is occurred hundreds of times on the Furious practice field. And you're getting the chance to see it live. Scuba! Oh
my God.
Heartbreak.
Back-to-back pancake drops.
And devastation for everyone watching when that Scuba was dropped.
Justin Podnar centering to Tim Sang. Back to Podnar. Big undercut from
Snordo?
Snordo? That's such a sick nickname.
It is.
Sounds like a Pokemon. Oh, the stall count rising. Oh!
High release, backhand. Tim comes down with it. Sam just a little too short.
Marty Gallant not dropping it that time. Around to Pipi Robert. Oh, big undercut. Completely unguarded. Is that Florence?
Oh, jeez. Sorry if you watch this back, Florence. That looks like Justin Podnar on the far side of the field. Looping flick, middle of the field. Tim dials one into the chest
of Lauren
Kimura.
Penelope Robert. Tim
Sang on that far side. Nice break side flow. Someone's got to be killing that cut, and there it is. Finds it on the inside. Maybe you'd like to see someone catching that quick around break on the backhand side of the disc when Podnar got it on that front cone, but the inside works nonetheless. Sometimes that little delay and attack is just as effective, and either way, TC World Games with the score.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Can't complain. Oh, it's getting dark
in here. What is Win G, wondering what happened with the UVic UBC game. Word on the street is there were some fouls called that maybe not everyone agreed with, and at the end of the day, UBC is going to nationals and UVic's not. So not everyone is happy with the result of that game or the way it transpired. But if you're a UBC alum, maybe you kind of are.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, there are a lot of players out here who were in that game, and it was one of the chippiest confrontations I've seen. Justin Podnar on the World Games side, Rex Ewan also on that UBC team, Max Petnuzzo on the Van City All-Stars was on UVic, unfortunately. And it was... the bad blood was on display, I'll say it. Which is what you love to see. Let out a guttural scream, the likes of which I've never heard.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Kevin Underhill, you have probably been living under a rock for the last 16 years. At least if you're, involved in Canadian Ultimate. But he's actually tonight's coach of the Van City All-Stars team, making his coaching debut at this level, as everyone is, because this is just a showcase game. But, you can see him on the far side of the field, red and black jacket. We talked to him before the game, asked him for his keys of the game for this Van City All-Stars team. Jonah, what did he let you know? Keys to the game for this Van City All-Stars team from Kevin Underhill.
That's a good question, Nick. That's a really, really good question.
Yeah, it's all good. I was listening. So Kevy told me he thinks what's really important is the number of players wearing colored pants on their team. Kevy's a big proponent of colored pants. He's also a proponent of how many opportunities you get for a quick splash, as Kevy likes to say.
What does that mean?
It means a water break, but Kevy likes to call it a quick splash. So the more quick splashes you get, the better chance. And, maybe it was his way of saying that the team needed to look good and recover well, stay hydrated, and that would help them perform. That's the way I interpreted it, at least.
And if that's the case, you know what they could use?
I think they could use a little bit of today's sponsor, Body Armor.
Body Armor keeps you hydrated and keeps your performance protected. Drink Body Armor today. Daisy Lynn fielding the pole. Vince Bullock. World Games coming down in a match set.
Jay Manchuk on this near side of the
goal.
field.
Doesn't put it
Looking
up.
up. Jay Manchuk, not much of a hucker. Daisy Lynn on that far side of the field looking for an inside shot.
That's Vince Bullock with the disc.
Oh, Vince absolutely tees one up.
Oh my
Morgan
God.
Hibbert just a yard short, a yard shy of that grab. And, for those of you that are Frisbee academics, you may recognize this field from days of old. I know Morgan Hibbert does. This is the field that the 2008 Team Canada team defeated the USA. It is one of the greatest games ever filmed. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
I will say Morgan Hibbert was on the mixed team that year, not the open team.
Yep, but he still remembers watching it from the stands. Speaking of stands, Anatoly Vasilyev is in the stands today, and he was on that team. He had an incredible throw that game. But back to our game today. World Games team on the far side of the field. Maybe another scuba, maybe not. Nice little inside shot. Looks like Mark Lloyd.
It was actually Ricky McLeod.
Oh, it was Ricky McLeod.
Yeah. Britt Dos Santos looking for Thomas Edmonds. No worries. Vince Bullock on the floor. Thomas. Oh! Spikes it. Oh, keep it up, boys. Keep it up. It's two-touch.
And now we're looking at a score of 12-6, 13-6. This game is kind of getting away from the Van City All-Stars. This World Games team putting their foot down and letting these Van City All-Stars know why they are on this roster, what kind of talent they have, what kind of skills they have, both defensively and offensively. Looks like we've got Justin Podner, Maliko Jisamar, Tim Sang, Malcolm Bryson?
Marty Gallant.
Marty Gallant walking to the line.
Yeah.
Geez, I really need glasses. Maybe that's Rachel Kook?
There is a Rachel Kook out there. There's a Penelope Robert, and there is a... good question.
Molly Wedge?
It's either a Florence or a Snorto.
Okay.
Hard to tell from up here. Justin Luna, over under 1.5 calls. Well, we have one UBC player on, so definitely over.
And Ewan tells us that is Florence. So we can confirm, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time tonight, confirmed Florence and the Machine is on the field. We've been waiting for this moment. They haven't come around to perform tonight yet, but hopefully this is going to be a big performance. Jonah, what's your favorite Florence and the Machine song?
It's got to be The Dog Days Are Over, obviously.
The dog days are over.
Well, the dog days are actually just starting.
Wow, the dog days have just begun.
Yeah. Dog days will be carrying on throughout the next couple months and well into the summer. Tim Sang with the pull.
A big looping pull goes up, and that's Robbie Brennan
Irish Spy
centering the disc.
to Max Petnuzzo.
Patented fake. Over to Robbie Brennan on that far side of the field. Back to Max Petnuzzo in the middle. Kerry Holst collecting it on the near side of the field. Andrea Moyer with a couple of fakes.
Oh!
Ooh, a layout D. Tim Sang, a legend of Canadian Ultimate. He is someone that is just, for all of his offensive talents, he is a defensive presence when he needs to be. Very positionally gifted. and knows how to make a play when you need him to. Podner collecting a floaty throw. You'd maybe like to see a little more pace on that to be able to collect it downfield. Podner with a nice inside cut, though. No continuation yet. A couple of reset to Malik.
Ooh, what's the call?
Maybe a...
Was that a travel call? Yes! Travel call! Oh my god! Woo!
Travel call.
Oh, that's awesome. Do it again. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit too easy.
That is hard to defend. Justin Podner with the break side, high release backhand up to Malik Auger-Samar. And, you know, I can finally say it. Florence and the Machine
have scored.
That is beautiful work by that TC World Games team. 14-6. Only need one more to win. This Vancity All-Star team is losing some steam. What are you hoping to see out of them on this next point, Jonah, to keep this game going?
I'm hoping to see them not get their cheeks clapped for the 7th break in a row. Just a clean hold, honestly. Just not throwing it into the person who is obviously covered and maybe hitting the open person.
Yeah, and I'd love to see that as well. You know, if for no other reason, we've got a couple more ad sponsors that we need to read out, and whether or not we get paid tonight kind of depends on that. So if this game doesn't keep going, we're not going to meet our ad sponsor requirement. Just give them some body armor. AJ Merriman, I couldn't agree more. You know, we are going to be fast-tracking this body armor down to the field so that this Vancity All-Stars team can put a clean hold together. Maybe they actually need us on the field. I don't know. We were at League last night playing some pickup, and I think we put 1 or 2 clean holds together ourselves. So, unfortunate they didn't call us up. You know, Coach Kev didn't want to give us the pick, but that's okay.
Well, Coach Kev knew that the Vancity All-Stars are playing a role here. This is like professional wrestling. You know, World Games are the baby face. They have to come out on top and win. Vancity All-Stars are the heels. If you put 2 studs like us in the game, it would be a much tighter contest.
It would absolutely. You know, bring me back to Undertaker versus Kane of old. It's kind of what that would probably feel like. But here we go. We got Daisy Lynn with the disc.
Hell in a Cell.
Finds a
Wilvu.
2 yards on the open side. 2 more yards on the open side.
Hoping she'll... Ooh, stuck on the sideline. This could be tough.
3, 4, 6 yards on the open side. And it's easy to tell because we're on a football field. That is a very important throw to Jay Manchuk. Finds a little bit of space onto that break side. Opens up completely the field.
Ooh, big cut from Rex Ewan.
Will Vu attacking the open side space.
Oh, goal, surely. Goal, please. Oh! Jay Boychuk. Layout grab for the score on the up line. Finally, a clean Vancity All-Stars hold. This Vancity All-Stars hold brought to you by another sponsor of this game, AJ Merriman. If you want to be a happy guy, all you need is a merry man.
Yep. And you know, if you're not, you should follow AJ Merriman on all his socials. Just look him up on Instagram. I don't know if he has Twitter, but his Instagram, he provides some educational Frisbee content. You know, maybe worth the checkout. He used to post a bunch of workout reels, but word on the street is he doesn't work out anymore. AJ, can you confirm or deny whether or not you still work out?
I think we can probably confirm that. Definitely not Wilkie Lewis, LMAOOO. I saw you on Rocket League earlier and did not get the invitation. Let me know if you want to link up. The grind to Grand Champ never stops, and it's better to do it together. Keegan says inspirational Alex and Jonah. Who the hell is Alex?
I don't know who Alex is, but I ain't him. And let's see who we got on the line for this TC World Games team. Hoping to close it out with a D point. Looks like Justin Podner.
Mark Lloyd, Pipi Robert, Marty Gallant, Anushka Beaudry, and Kook. We got Kook out there.
Good old RC car looking to speed their way to a win tonight. 14-7. And this Vancity All-Star team need nothing but breaks, and they're putting out their defensive legends. Sam Butt Morgan Hibbert, Robbie Brennan, Andrea Moyer,
You're doing so good. Keep going. No, get into the
RV
color. Get into the color. Get into the
Briantes.
color.
Oh, and we've got the World Games team with a disc in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Justin Podner.
They're set up in this like deep horizontal stack. It's kind of like a sockeye 2019 offense.
And the disc goes up. Andrea Moyer high points it.
That's Andrea
What
Moyer. Come
a
on!
D. That is just what the doctor ordered. Prescription has been filled and sent, and the D was completed.
Yo, that was epic.
Andrea Moyer, one of the many future doctors on the field tonight. Who's Dave? Don't know. Van City All-Stars picking up the disc at their own end zone line. They got 70 yards to go. RV Briantes with the disc. Andrea Moyer teeing up a backhand, doesn't throw it. Tees it up again, still doesn't throw it. Finds a couple yards on the open side. That's Sam Butt. Holstering. Can this Van City All-Star teams find some break side flow? That if they can't, they might be just stuck on this open side. And that is a looping throw. Sam Butt, second effort, does not come down with it. Mark Lloyd in the end zone, all by his lonesome, snags it with that left hand, the claw. TC World Games brings it down 15-7, and that is the game, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. I'll answer the last couple questions we have here. Anyone on Vancouver earned a second look from Team Canada tonight? Nope. But I think Mark Lloyd, after his performance, that big layout, almost Callahan, that block on the bookends right there to close it out, I think he might be in contention to make this World Games roster.
Yeah, you always need someone who can show up in those big moments and make those big plays, and Mark Lloyd has been that guy for well over a decade.
Yeah. All right, and with that, looks like we're still playing. I think Nate had the wrong score. We'll see. But for those of you, before I leave, for those of you who paid for the stream tonight, make sure to unsubscribe to NKolakovic.
Yeah, and Petson is asking, isn't Mark 48? I don't know. Birth certificates were not a requirement
when he
for
was
us
born.
tonight. Yeah, so we don't actually know how old he is. He's kind of like one of those college or those high school basketball players you'll see in the U.S. that might be 16 but might be 30. He's kind of one of those guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of a word we're getting from the booth here. I'm hearing in my ear that the teams agreed to continue playing, and that we're going to see a couple more points here, maybe World Games team hoping to get a couple more looks. They like the competitiveness of this game, so it's going to keep going. And if it keeps going, we're going to keep rolling.
We'll keep rolling. And, if Evan Lepperler were up here, he'd be talking about the moment, This is the moment where legends are made. This could be the turning point. It's not every day you get an extra 3 points to play at the end of a game that's already hard capped. And are they going to let it slip away? I don't know.
I sure wouldn't.
I wouldn't. See who's on the World Games line.
I can't see it because I don't have my glasses on.
Sorry.
But I'm seeing Marty Gallant.
No.
Wow. 0 for 7. Over to Jonah. He's going to tell you who's on the line.
All right. Gagan Chatham, Malcolm Bryson, Mike McKenzie, Thomas Edmonds, Sarah Jacobson, Brittany Dos Santos, Colleen Mott. Daisy Lynn picking up, throwing to Will Vu, wide open. Devin Bridgeland Powell streaking deep, big flick huck, floating. Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Oh my God! Catch a body and collar Carly. What a score by Devlin Bringland Powell. Gets up on a ladder for that grab.
Pet Sinis says, who are we commentating?
Good question, man.
Oh, who are you guys? Who is commentating?
Oh, who are we? Good question.
Don't let them know.
Yeah.
Could be incriminating.
AJ Merriman says,
What are those?
dancing emojis?
Let's turn up the brightness. Enhance. I have no idea what those are.
Never seen that emoji before, AJ.
What the fuck is that?
But if you're enjoying the stream, leave us whatever AJ just sent in the chat.
Yeah, let's see him. Put your... Oh, it's like little Michael Jacksons.
Oh, little Michael Jackson emojis.
But like white Michael Jacksons.
Oh.
What's going on? Where did he find this?
I think what AJ's trying to say is that
He got up. It's a guy jumping.
Jonah and I are two smooth criminals. Oh, it's a guy jumping. So maybe he's not trying to say that, but...
It's a floating emoji. Floating.
Floating emoji.
Yeah, where's the head top
Ooh,
emoji?
and we're seeing a lot of floating emojis in the chat. Miles and
see it,
Cole
let's see it.
loving the stream
It's
so
Black
far.
Michael Jackson.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Thanks, AJ. All right.
I think Devin BP might have just earned himself a second look.
I think he might have. You make a play like that, it's hard to look away as a coach. Speaking of coaches, this World Games team kind of has like 7 or something. I don't know what's going on.
There were people in coaching jerseys filing into the stadium that I had no idea were even involved with this team. I saw Guo come in. I was like, I didn't realize. I was unfamiliar with your game. Apologies.
Yeah, me neither. You know what they say? Anything for a free tracksuit.
Speaking of the tracksuits, what do you think about the all red?
I'm liking the all red tracksuit.
Yeah, right?
I think it stands out. It's bright.
I kind of hate that I like it. You know?
Yeah, I kind of love that I hate it. Sorry, I actually love it, though. So I don't know what I'm saying there. Speaking of coaches, Alex Davis, one of the coaches here on this near side with the clipboard. He's probably keeping track of some stats. This World Games team, that's Tim Sang collecting.
Great eyesight. Into Lauren Kamara. Malik in isolation, doesn't want to hit it. Ooh, tight defense from Jay Boychuk. On stall 13, gets it off. PP Robert, up to Justin Podnar. Oh, this could be a goal. No, it's not.
Looks it off. Some oohs out of the crowd. They were expecting that throw to go up. Instead, another looping centering pass by Justin Podnar. And looks like Lauren Kamara with a dialed throw to Malik Auger-Samar.
Morgan Hibbert's spear tackle on Sang incoming. Is that racist?
Historically accurate?
Historically accurate. Could be
That's kind of crazy.
inflammatory. Inciting remarks.
You know, I wouldn't hate it, though. It would be exciting. And what are we seeing here? Some
Hopefully
teams
the end of the game.
lining up. Yeah, it looks like this might be it for us tonight.
Go ahead.
I guess TC World Games takes it 17-7. Not quite sure where we're at now. 17-8. I think what we saw tonight is kind of what we expected, a high level of clinical execution by this TC World Games team. Got ourselves a treat in some high-flying plays from the likes of Mark Lloyd, Gagan Chatha, Devin Bringelin Powell with a layout D on this near side. These are big moments that I think of when I think of this game. Will it go down in history? Probably not.
No.
But it sure made my night a little bit better watching this high-level Ultimate. Hopefully it made your guys' night a little bit better. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting the stream. For those of you that tuned in, this has been Nick Sanchez and Jonah Lee Ash.
Signing out. Also, shout out to Rowan Sivanandam tuning in from Australia.
And all our sponsors, B Ultimate, Body Armor, and Jägermeister.
Don't drink responsibly. Drink Jägermeister.